we're still continuing with the nervous system. This time, the autonomic nervous system, which is, of course, our viscera. When we think about this system and how we looked at the nervous system, okay, so we looked at it in terms of the skeletal muscle, and we know that one of the things that happens is a reflex. In this system, reflexes are important because this is a system that we are not consciously controlling. Do we affect it? Yes. Okay, but do we control it? No. So it's being controlled based upon information that areas of the brain are picking up about conditions in our body. For example, pH of the blood, oxygen levels, CO2 levels, temperature. So we're picking up a lot of information that's going to help control the systems. And so we term this the visceral reflex, which is where we left off on Tuesday of last week. We looked at now one of the things I want to mention, for the most part, the way that this system is going to operate and maintain homeostasis of the body is negative feedback. For the most part, positive feedback can be detrimental. For the most part, there are certain situations where positive feedback is beneficial. But for maintaining homeostasis, we are going to be dependent upon negative feedback. So, for example, when we left off, throughout the body, once again, we've got receptors. This time, they're showing a baro reflex. This is where that particular receptor, what it picks up on, in this case, blood pressure. So it'll pick up information. It'll say, whoa, this is too high or this is too low. Send that information to an integrating center in the brain, known as, in this case, cardiac center, okay? Integrate that information and determine, do I need to speed up the heart rate or slow down the heart rate? And therefore, adjust the blood pressure back to normal. So this is how we're going to be dependent on these reflexes from this system. The two divisions that exist, for the most part, they're going to innervate the same organs. So we're going to have a sympathetic and a parasympathetic division. That means an organ that we have will have fibers from both, a sympathetic and a parasympathetic, because the two divisions do different things. In the sympathetic division, this is our fight or flight. It's going to prepare the body, meaning it's preparing it to either flee or fight. So we need to increase the heart rate, increase blood pressure, increase the air in our lungs, make sure blood glucose levels increase so that we can supply the energy to the cells, okay? Its job get the body ready to do something. Now, whether it's something physically that needs to happen, like you're going to start taking a run or whatever the case might be, or if it's something perceived, all right? Because this will also work if you perceive a fear, if there's some anger involved, you know, whatever the case might be. What it's going to do, it's going to take blood flow that would normally be going, for example, to the digestive system, and it'll cut that blood flow off. And it'll send it to these other areas of the body to get them ready. For example, the skeletal muscles. Get them ready to perform. Well, we can't stay in this state for a long period of time. If you do, this starts a whole set of stress factors that can actually lead to death. Okay? So the body's goal, all right, well, if I have increased heart rate, increased breathing rate, all this other stuff, hopefully based on negative feedback, it'll say, wait a minute, we got to calm this down. So parasympathetic does that. This one, basically, let's say, calm down. Let's rest. Let's get the blood back to the organs, i.e. the digestive system. Let's work on these foods. Let's rest. Let's digest. Let's make sure we go to the bathroom, that sort of thing. So this is the reason that stress kills. Because when you're under constant states of stress, this is what's happening in the body, not this. And the body can't sustain that. Does that make sense? Okay. So, since we're in this autonomic system, automatic, we need to make sure that these two systems work together. And really, in all reality, they do. These two systems complement each other. And in doing so, they maintain a heart rate. They maintain a blood pressure. They maintain a breathing rate. Because if one goes up, the other one says, whoa, come back to normal. So we call this tone. Did y'all talk about muscle tone in part 1? Where there's like just a little bit of more negative, less positive across the membrane of a muscle cell so that the muscle is ready to act when you need it. And that's called muscle tone. Not like somebody working out having nice muscles, okay? It's just this little firing, because we're working on ions, okay? Just a little bit of firing, and then when the muscle is needed, it can and do the action. Same thing here, okay? These fibers of this system, because they do complement each other. One is going to be like, okay, let's keep it this end of the norm. The other one's going, well, let's put it up here, and if we stay in between, we're in a normal rate. And that's what we have. When you look, for example, at a heart rate, the normal heartbeats, we should have, at rest, a heartbeat of about 70 to 80 beats per minute. People who are very well physically conditioned Now I'm talking like Olympic athletes here, okay? Their resting heart rate can be down in the 40s because they are so well conditioned. That means the heart's a muscle, just like everything else. They've trained it. Now, for blood pressure, as we move forward into the heart, the blood vessels, we're going to find that our blood vessels are innervated. They are going to have a nerve supply, and that's because these vessels, arteries, okay, these vessels need to make sure that we maintain pressure getting blood to the tissues. Because without that, without getting blood to the tissues, we are denying those tissues nutrients. So if we deny them nutrients, they can't do their job. They die. So the goal, keep it all alive. So the tone is going to do this. Now, even though the heart is going to be innervated, it is not controlled by the nervous system. We know that the nervous system and the endocrine system control the body, but not the heart. The heart is its own control, which we'll find out. When we excite the heart rate, what that does, it affects the digestive and the urinary function. And the goal, of course, is inhibit those, especially digestive, okay? Because the body goes, well, I can, let's just put that off to the side. We'll take care of that later. Urinary function. Well, yes and no, okay? Have you ever done someone, like they show on TVs or movies or something, they got so scared of something that they urinated on themselves, okay? So that's not really inhibiting, but what it did was it overruled the sphincters, okay? So usually once that happens, though, it's definitely inhibited, okay? It's up to the parasympathetic to bring the digestive and urinary back, okay? In other words, get them back to working. Now the pathways. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. All right, can everybody kind of see this? Okay. Now, do you see how I pointed these out before? This looks like a chain that's running along the side, okay? This is going to be involved with the autonomic nervous system. Now, what you guys can probably see, so I'll bring it around. Do you see these little ones go up and up like that? Do you see them doing that branching? See this kind of branching that's taking place from that chain? Now remember, this is running on both sides. All right, it's not just the one side. It would be both. They're just representing it on one. Okay. You see how it's got these little ones? Okay. And they're connected to a spinal nerve. Okay. You see how we got all these little branches that are coming on? All these little branches.